This is your daily market recap for Wednesday, August 17th, 2022.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market recap for Wednesday, August 17th, 2022. Hopefully you're having a good day. Apologize I wasn't around a ton in the Discord room today. I know we had the Fed minutes, which we expected to be kind of an inflection point. As some of you guys know, putting out fires, neighbors, contractors literally were diverting their whole backyard water next to my foundation. I had to fix that and make sure the contractor didn't do that. Anyway, long story short, done. What about the market? Well, if you're newer to the channel, stop by Discord room, links in the description below, because we're going to dig deep into this, because I think the pivot points hit. It's just the price action, again, is a little confusing. Remember, options expiration, ChopX, try to nail as many puts and calls as possible, because there's still a ton out there. But just be aware, like, the put to call ratio is pretty high in certain indexes, but all of the puts are in like much lower range. Now the calls are building up. So I imagine the market makers potentially wanted to hold up the indexes intentionally today to draw in the call buyers. Because remember, think about sentiment right now. Everyone's bullish, always bullish. Bear market's over. Feds have pivoted. And we're going to go into the evidence of why all of that is absolutely 100% incorrect and how we gauge the probabilities of where we're at the top. Hopefully, this will be very informative, because a lot of people are just, they look at charts, they can see whatever they want to see. Let's try to be evidence-based, not gamblers. Bitcoin, I have said this every video for which I guess it's been since June. The goal is to get away from the lows. You had the volume, the puking, but all you're doing is just basing and chopping slightly higher. If this thing does not take off, it is exactly what has happened in the past, where you chop and base to fail later. Chop and base to fail later. Oh, I didn't know I had the draw function on. I guess you really don't have one. I mean, that's the problem here. This can look very similar. Now, again, the time, action, layout, how it all plays out. Don't believe the average person who's telling you. I can tell you what day, week. I mean, you can typically week. Remember, we talk about OPEX, and first and last 3 days of the month, they're usually tops and bottoms. But this action to me is dangerous. Dangerous. Danger. You know, Steve Irwin be screaming at this thing. You got to be careful. Don't get hit by the stingray. And, you know, like, this is real shit here. God bless that guy. Good guy. Love animals. Everybody should love animals. Anyway, what do you think now? You got to be careful, because if this is rolling, it could easily get back down to here. And the problem with the longer amount of time that you stay down here, once it turns over, it can just turn over, because now everybody who's been accumulating in the last 3 months just says, I'm done. 2 months, right? I'm done. It was supposed to go higher. It didn't. It starts turning, turns into the waterfall. Waterfall. Remember the drinking game? You had to, like, Waterfall Kings, I think it was. Maybe that was a drinking game. Whatever. I don't really drink much anymore, so I lost all those brain cells anyway. Oil. What are we noticing about oil, right? What have we talked about? A lot of people want to buy it. A lot of people want to short it. I just say, leave it alone. And when I say it, I mean it nicely. I'm redrawing it because now it looks a little different. I don't know. This action is compressing. There's geopolitical risk, and there's recession risk. And then there's, I would consider risk of governments doing dumb things. They might now outlaw gasoline. I don't know. I saw some of the permits. They're talking about pulling the permits on some of the game lands or whatever. Just pulling permits for exploration for oil and gas in the United States. I was like, I get it. I think everyone wants to go green, but you don't have really a plan. It's just like, choke out oil and gas and then be left with the Flintstones era stuff. We're all just going to, like, pedal our way around. Like, you need power. And the electrical grid can't handle all of this. It's just, again, people think this is political. It's just like, no, this is like common sense. Like, if you were going to transition off of oil and gas, which you've been on for, I don't know, 140, 50 years, you gotta have an alternative. You just don't cold turkey, right? It just doesn't seem right. And again, people get political, but I'm like, no, this is just common sense. When you transition from something, you have a plan. The plan isn't just to throw money at the problem. because that's what it's turned into. It turns very political, which I hate that because, again, I mean, you probably wouldn't even have to spend a single dollar if you incentivize companies to do it. But no, they rather spend trillions of dollars. It doesn't make sense. TLT, what are y'all thinking? Let me pause while you think about it. What we talked about. What is the TLT assigned for? Higher rates. And this is going lower. Keep in mind, it leads the market. Because the market's not going to like higher rates, right? Higher rates into a recession? Inflation? Market loves low rates. Well, what has now essentially happened? This looks like a flag. I mean, this looks exact. Pretend this was Bitcoin. Here you go. You need to start ripping higher if you're going to go. You just chop your way slowly, and then when you break the bottom, here's the problem. Here's the volume. And this is one of the things I talk about with, trying to get into the short. Like, you want to get, so pretend this is the SPY. Current, if you're listening, I know you got a lot of good questions. Here you go. Like, you get up to that range, and eventually it, when do you want to get in? And it's like, here you go. It comes right back. Then it gaps down, and it comes right back, and you're just like, I don't know. And it's just like, if you could just take yourself and fast forward yourself a week or two later. Oh, here it is. Here's the start. Now I'll short. And then it goes boink right back. Now, again, when I think it goes, it's going to go. Just keep in mind some of the leading indicators look a little dicey. I like to talk about corporate debt, especially if we're going to talk about a bear market. Because, again, corporate debt is a problem, right? Like, it proceeds. Well, if it breaks the 20-day, that's gone. Because keep in mind, is this not a very similar situation? I don't know the best way to draw it. It doesn't matter, right? If the markets are making new highs, corporate debt should be holding up. And look at it doing. I mean, it's so hard, so much red, but do you call that a professional gap? Right? Remember the gaps in June? We'll look at the HYG turning over. Well, will Mr. Spider follow? Mr. QQQ. Let's call him Mrs. Q. I like that. Anyway, dollar. I've said to you guys a million times that the Fed is pivoting. The dollar would do what? It would go lower. It wouldn't be going higher. Look at this crap, man. You've based out. You retested the lows, like secured the low, right? Doji, candle, whatever. Inside day, professional gap. Now you're making higher highs and lows off the bottom. Does this look like the Feds have pivoted? I mean, you have to ask yourself these questions because, again, the narratives will make you feel certain that you're being told the right thing, while the market will tell you, if you study it deep enough, you are being led to your own slaughter. Remember, they can't steal your money. You have to willingly give it away. That's what it is. You're donating. You don't realize it, but you are. Especially when you're trading and you're not smart. And not smart, like not experienced. It's like, how easy is it to trick a kid, right? How easy is it to, trick a naive person, right? I mean, that's what the market does. So, dollar going higher. VIX. Talked about the VIX rollover today. Is it going to roll a contract? Nice little doji. I mean, I like seeing the market starting to peel with the tight VIX, right? Like, the higher part of the VIX is where you start looking at really taking the bigger profits, right? I mean, we're at fair risk, medium risk for what? Crash. Well, it's a bear market. I've said this over and over and over. You consolidate. Can I draw it like this? What's up, cat? You draw it like this. Here's like your consolidation phase, right? Before the what? The big pop. Now this is COVID. I kind of take that as a one-off. Pretend it's not there. Scratch it out of there. Sorry, cat. You can't get in my lap. I'm working. Here's your consolidation phase. Again, I'm a dog person, but dog passed away a couple years ago, and I can't replace him. He was that good. Wife loves cats. I like animals just in general. But look at this thing. Chop, chop, chop. Base. Pop. The last base. It'll probably, and again, here you go. Look when it all started. Look when it all bottomed. August. Why is October seasonal? Again, I don't want to repeat myself because this can be a 78-minute video if I repeat everything that I'm thinking every time. Let's just say the pattern is repeating itself. All right, in the lap. SPY. Oh, Dan, it's not topped. Here's the monthly. We talked about what? You might have a wick as you look over the point of control and over the 20-month. Here we go. Johnny, here it is. People keep talking about, like, why don't you wait? You're late. Be late. You know what? We said this is your hot topic, your hot pocket to start layering in. It could go higher. We said what? 3 scenarios. Short arm it, exact touch, slightly higher high. Those are the three scenarios. Well, we've played out two of them. Does it need a retest? That becomes the question, because it doesn't have to be. Could it be like this, right? Can it be like this straight line move? And this is what I keep telling people. At the lows, what do we say? 3 gap trap. 1 gap, 2 gap. Let me make it clear. Let me open it up. There's your 3rd gap, right? Still went a little higher, lower, right? Like that's just not, it's not like the gap and drop and turn around. Gap 1. Where is it? Sorry. Gap 1. I wouldn't consider that one because it looks like more of a novice gap because it turned around. Gap 1, gap 2, gap 3. All major gaps. There's your 3 gap trap potential. I know there's a gap here, but again, I want big gaps, because what do you think bigger gaps mean, right? Way more emotion. Like the market can't close at 401 and open at 395 without emotion. It can't close at 390 and then open at 380. You know what I mean? Like those are big emotional gaps. And like right here at the low, 365 to open at 372. Like the bears didn't see that coming. You see what I'm saying? So 3 gap trap. Here's the reference. It dropped and then it professionally gapped and started. Well, here you go. Red candle, doji. Here's your green top in doji. Is tomorrow the follow-through day? That is the $1 million question, folks. Because sometimes you get this little two candle formation, chop pop. 2 candles, 3 candles sometimes, usually 2. Or you get this kind of crap. Now people are like, what the hell are you talking about? Way so much stuff. Again, just looking at the repeating patterns. If the 3 gap trap extends, you're at the 200 day. Today's action, I'm sorry, it's not bearish. I know it looks or not bullish. It's green, but look what you did. You had a long wick, got back up near the highs, closed back near where you opened, but you made a lower low. I mean, again, people infatuated with the color, right? I don't really care about the color. Look at the price action. Like if this candle was red down here, would it have mattered? I don't think so. If this candle up here is green, does it matter? No. The Qs, here's the culprit. Higher rates. Tech hates it. We talked about not, you know what I said? I mean, I said this because of very aggressively, because I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm like, we're not even close to the 200. It's not happening. It's not happening. Look at this. We back tested this trend line. Let me see if I can edit it. Oh, I think it's going to make me try to edit all of my, yeah. Oh, it's not. Here we go. This trend line. And you're like, where does this trend line come from? In your sloppy dappy charts. Sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe. No, sloppy charts. It's an old one. It's an old trend line from back in the yesteryear. Now, I know it's not clean. It's not perfect. I mean, I could probably move it a little bit to fit. Whatever. Right? Close enough for government work, right? Like you can pivot it to up in the 200 day. I was like, I just don't think it's going to happen because I'm trying to get it to line up with what? Man, I got to get some of these lines. I apologize. This is bothering me. I know at home you got to be like, what is this guy doing? It's like, I feel like it's Zach Galifianakis when he's sitting at the blackjack table calculating odds and his brain is popping up with those calculations. Like you're just into this area. I just don't think you can get much higher. And here's your inflection point. Remember, high volume highs, high volume lows. Love to retest. If you've never heard that before, write it down. High volume highs, high volume lows, love to retest. Look at this green candle. They act like tractor beams. It's the biggest candle by far on the whole chart. We hit that exact level. Now I need to clean up how I move my trend line. Whatever, doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying here? This ain't happening. It ain't happening. So if it does, that would be the outlier. We'll look at the action today. Volume's starting to creep up a little bit, but it's a doji. What color is it? Oh, it's red, so it's got to be bearish. Whatever. That one was green. It doesn't matter. All the reason in the world. All the reason in the world to continue higher on that Apple upgrade. And if the feds are really pivoting, you should go higher. But people, I'm telling you, you are getting spoon-fed. The market cannot steal your money. You have to donate it, and that's the game. Just like you can't lose without betting in a casino. Just like you can't lose unless you bet on a sport with a bookie. They've got you. What do we talk about? Here you go. Here's your doji over the 200-day. IWM gap down. IWM leads. IWM has clearly topped. Clear as rain. Now, what do we want to see? Volume on the backside start to spill. Does this make sense? Because again, if you look at the monthlies, this is where it gets really, like, you see, like, the bigger trend is over. Está terminado. It's done. You know? I mean, here, look at the Qs. Talked about it. Maybe get over the 430 or 330 point of control. Okay, well, it's, you know, is it perfect? This is why horseshoes and hand grenades are the perfect game for trading, like really big swing trading. Like, do you think Buffett's out there going, all right, boys, we're only going to buy at $35 a share? And I've been in Buffett's meeting. No, I'm just kidding. No. He goes, I like the stock around here. Let's look for the technical analysis that makes sense. Hey, but you at home think you're going to outsmart the smartest people on the planet and say, all right, Dan, the price for the top is $334.75 at 10 a.m. on August 16th, 2022. Get the out of here, man. Like, you're just like, but if you act, and again, I'm not making fun of anyone directly. I'm trying to make people realize, like, I'm the mirror. Like, how funny does that sound? That the smartest people in the world are doing what? Speculating, right? Speculating. And you're over here saying what? Oh, I got it. I know exactly what's... No, you don't know shit. I don't know shit. Meaning for anything for sure. And that's not, I mean like antagonization to anybody, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. This whole game of I have to find certainty in trading, you, my friends, it's like trying to find the Holy Grail. You'll spend your whole life looking for immortality and then you die. What a waste of life. Right? Or, I don't know. You're looking to marry the perfect person in the world out there and no one's good enough for you. Well, the reality is you're not perfect either, asshole. I don't know. It is what it is. So, IWM, back testing, not surprised. Do you guys see now? Like, if it's not clear, leave a comment. If you're not sure, stop by the Discord. It's clear as day that we're potentially forming the points of control flips. Like, look it up here. I've said this a lot of times, and you probably remember it on the XOP, is like, you had these, like, red days at the highs, and these indecision candles, like, and the volume just spiked just ever so slightly. But you didn't see it, right? The hourly, starting to see a little peel action. You probably can see it better on the 10-minute. Let me just zoom in. Again, I hate zooming in unless I'm looking for irregularities. This is interesting up here. I know the volume wasn't big, but then you bounce back, and then this candle just, whoa. Somebody's like, I am done. But someone absorbed it, obviously. You start ripping down, you pop back up, you engulf back down. Man, I don't know. Is that a buy signal at the low? Clearly held. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything great, but here's the thing about Livermore we talk about, and this can get so hard, especially with stretched moves, right? If you're the market maker, you want to mark up the IWM as high as possible, and you will feed it. And the higher it runs, the more you will feed it smaller bites, right? You will feed it, you know, say you had 100,000 shares, you'll feed it 10,000 shares versus trying to unload it all at once, right? So you don't know the game's over until what? They know the stops. They know everyone's long. They're short, and they're ready to let it bounce or smash. And that's where you get the volume on the backside started to increase. Because now people are starting to realize, like, oh, crap, the party's up. Gold. You know what? I get attacked so much by gold traders because, again, they don't understand. They don't understand. I know what's going on. I never get a, hey, you were right, dude. Or, hey, you were right, bud. Hey, you were right, bro. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. Friend. Buddy. Hey, buddy. Nah, never. Never, ever. And what did we tell you a couple days ago? I guess it is Wednesday. What did we say Monday? You closed at the high and professionally gapped. This is the biggest problem with trying to pick the market top. If you're up here going, oh, I'm good enough, but then you stop out on this day, right? Curran, pay attention. You stop out on this day, and what is it? Boom, gap down. Now what do? You're all stopped out. You couldn't set your, you couldn't layer in, or you couldn't, like, just know your risk tolerance. And that's what the market does. And I'm not picking on anyone particularly, but it happens to me. It happens to me a lot. I don't think people realize this. One of the biggest trades, I'm going to bounce around because that's fine. One of the biggest trades I missed on the SPY, where was it? Oh, it was right here. I still have the arrows. I still remember this. I was like, I'd like to short this. Look at this action. Gap down, and I just gave up. I remember I just went snowboarding or something, or I was like, I'm done. I was like, retest. I'll come back. Boom. Look at that move. I missed that move. Look at that action. Look what it did. Same thing with gold. Repeating pattern. Now, I know I had that long wick, whatever. Pattern was what? This choppy, toppy action. Now, is it, the candles look the same? No. But it's a double top, and it closed at the high right before it dropped. Like, that's the most important part, right? Closing at the high before the novice or the professional gap down. Those, my friends, are by far the hardest trades. Because that's what sometimes the market maker does, right? Here you go. Closes at the lows. Oh, I'm done. You stopped out. Do you see how gold? I mean, this is just a perfect, again, I always tell you, if you can trade gold, everything is possible. Look what it does. It closes at the lows. It says, get the F out, but look at the volume, major anomaly. And then look what happens. Opens. You're like, what the just happened? And that's my point, is like your emotional control and your ability. I mean, again, not making fun of Drew today, but like your ability just to be like, all right, if I'm in near the highs, I just got to be patient. I'd love to say, hey, guys, gals, set your timer, set your alarm, show up at ABC time at ABC day, and let's do this. I guess I should be saying 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. You get my point? And so here you go. And gold is what? Gold is the lover of retest. The lover of retest, always. Double bottoms, double, triple bottoms. Let's do this every video. Double bottoms, whatever. Do you get my point? But here's the biggest problem with gold. And nobody ever talks about volume, and that's their problem. When the market maker is about to start a move, they need liquidity. They want all of the cookies. They want the cookie jar. Do you see retail puking? Do you see it, y'all? Because I'm going to sit here and just think, I'm going to sip on this coffee. And if you can honestly say to yourself, the volume there is capitulation, turn off this video and go follow someone who is the editor for Play Trader magazine. Because that's a joke. It's an absolute joke to think what? The market maker shook out the volume he needs to take it higher. Now, again, sometimes you can say stretched out, time corrections, but this isn't a time correction. This is a price correction. I'm telling you, before gold goes higher, before gold and silver goes higher, and you want to say blow up the system, keep in mind who's going to have all of it before it goes. It's not going to be you and I. It's going to be the market maker. Just stop pretending. I hate this game of Wall Street bets. It's just like, it'd be like I always say it's like everyone going into the robbing thinking like they're going to go in and rob the casino and win over the long term. It's like, no, you better get your chips and run and never come back to that casino, because at some point you're going to get murdered, and not by the casino, but just in general. Silver, leave it alone. We talked about getting in the 19s. It gapped down and dojied, even more fun. And now it's just bleed, 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 bleed. Now you're at the 20-day. Hopefully it holds, but GDX, I told y'all, leave this alone. It was it couldn't even get anywhere to the May highs like GDXJ. Look what happened. Breaks the 20-day. I don't know why I keep doing the fart sounds, but it just means it just got crapped on. That's what I'm essentially trying to say. It just gone. I mean, I think you can see that if there was any remnants of what you might call like some sort of flag, it just broke it with volume. Game over. Somebody today, I think Swing Trader, I love you, man. I love you, man. I know you're fighting the hard battle, but dude, you always got to buy something, and that's the problem. You don't. This would have been epic pain, especially the GDXJ today. You folks that bought it at the lows we talked about, you could buy it. We said there's a trade. Go and check the videos. But once it got up to here, game over. Now look. This is the first time I've seen this. I really had a busy afternoon. Game over. El partido está terminado. Later, bud. And look at the volume. I just feel bad for folks because, again, this thing was way better. It came up to the May highs. Leave the miners alone. And again, every day somebody says, hey, Dan, you're an idiot. I'm like, well, if I'm an idiot, then maybe you want to be like this idiot. Because I know. I just know. I've traded this stuff. I'm not some novice here. We're going, well, 17 people on StockTwits are bullish silver and gold. Well, then I got to be idiot number 18. No. Talked about it. Testing up here, fail. Where do you want to buy it? Wait for the capitulation. Now, again, what's the best time to buy gold, silver? We always talk. It is when the Feds pivot. They actually do pivot. Don't believe that. But also, too, there will be a VIX spike minimum 40. Where's the VIX today? 19. And you tell me you want to buy the miners? Don't make me come through this monitor and slap you. Don't make me do that. Newmont. Again, this is a dinosaur. Leave it alone. But it could, if it breaks this uptrend, see you at 30. Dirty 30. Pass on it. We talked about it. Like, no, its earnings were just. Oh, I'm like, look at them. I'm like, where are the earnings? It's like, here you go. And remember we talked about like not being able to catch a buy. It's obviously then the SNL skit. Bye-bye. Have a nice trip. Bye-bye. Oh, do you have to? Bye-bye. 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 And not bye-bye-bye like Kramer. House of Pain. No. Okay, so here's the one miner that we have identified as obviously the next one. This is the Neo. This is what I would consider going to break the matrix, right? That's volume at the lows. So now what? Now you have a very clear reference of where it should come back to, somewhere in the 38. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden, again, whoosh, then snap back. Are we clear on miners and gold? I mean, every day I feel like I get somebody like, do you know the market's going to reset overnight and you're going to miss this? And I'm like, no, because if it is a reset, it's not going to be a one-day thing, folks. Letter X, we talked about the 200-day. Goodbye. I said that this morning in the Discord room before I got abruptly interrupted by crazy stuff. This was not acting well. Open at the high, close at the lows. All these names, materials that were looking so good, what we warned you on. I know I'm going to get a ton of people, you're an idiot, Dan. I mean, again, it's always the people call me an idiot. And you always talk about, like, smart money is quiet. The idiots are the ones shouting. If you're shouting at me, it's because you don't know. I don't shout at anybody unless I laugh at them and go, what are you doing? You don't know what you're doing, then I laugh. And I kind of play games with people. But it's like the childish naivete. Just is what it is. You just don't know it. You just don't know you have it, right? Like, again, that's part of being naive. I've been trading 1 year, trading 3 years. I've been trading this bull market. You still don't know shit. That's the irony, is you still don't know shit until you've traded every market, every circumstance, every year, every day, every week, every Fed minute, everything you've ever done in your life culminate into what? Knowledge and experience. Don't pretend you have it. There you go. Break over it. Probably going south for the fall. CCJ. Fucking uranium. I shouldn't be swearing, but you folks are relentless. And again, I hope for your sake that we don't find alternative, some sort of whatever that fission, whatever, some other splitting the electron or just pulling out protons or whatever. And you don't need uranium. You could just use dirt. You guys are, this is dangerous, man. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be a teenager. I don't even want to review it anymore. It's the same thing every day. Relentless, these folks. It's like, buy it when what? The market capitulates. And then I will bless it every day. And I will say, uranium is the king of metals other than gold. Look at this. VALE, I told y'all this was a problem. Remember this candle? Like this? 99 problems, and VALE's got one, and it's that one, and it's pointing directly lower, gap down, chop, leave it alone. Arrow talked about this a couple days ago. Said, it was popping, but what is this? That's a professional gap, and now it's making lower lows. Look at this nice green candle. It really mess with your head. Mosaic, we said leave this one alone. This is the weaker of the two. Chopping, holding up. CF is the one. This is the Neo. You are the one. Look at the volume. Stopping power, buying down here. But then also pay attention. Look at this breakout with volume. Like, there's something going on in this. Like, there's something cooking in this stock. Again, I've seen this before. I just don't know when it gets bought. Let's get into the tech stuff, because this is where it gets interesting. This is going to be a long video, but there's a lot to talk about because we're at inflection points. What have we said? The Goldman Sachs upgrade, the Buddy Pass, the biggest friendly pass ever. Hey, everybody, we're going to upgrade AMD. You have unlimited reign to sell it. Sorry, not that day. This day. Remember, close out the high, game over. You see how hard it can be sometimes? Close at the high, 3 days and game over. Close at the high, lower highs, even more bearish. Even more bearish. Do you see that? Like, this is actually like trying, and then at some point, AMD going south. And if you don't know how commodities how chips turn into commodities, oh my God, you are going to be witnessing the absolute destruction of your account balance if you hold on to the SMH in chips. At some point, yes, they will be a buy, but just buy and hold. Just that whole mentality. Look at today, held the 20-day. Do you see the rubber band man tightening up? Getting a little more tired. Getting a little more tired. Now what? Is it game over or one more test? I don't know the answer to that, but if you are shorting up in this area for the last you almost got 2 weeks, and you couldn't be patient, and again, if you were and you traded around it, cool. But if you bought, the Soxus and you're like, it has to be at this price, and it has, when this thing turns over, you're gonna see what? People wake up from their graves? No. Talk about the point of control. But you guys who are new don't realize when the SMH was a baby, IPO'd, got up to $1.05, came back to 18, and then in the bear market at 20, it got to 14. You, my friends, might be buying it here. Again, at some point, all chips are great. All these companies are competing to create oil. That's essentially what it becomes. Like, all chips will be great. And so they're pumping oil. Now they've overpumped. Do you want to hold on to it? And if you say yes, well, good luck. I will see you on the other side. But I just hope you're not full of resentment and anger at me. Just trying to help you. Apple. Think of the Buddy Pass, Credit Suisse. You guys are great. Love you guys. I've tried to put this on Twitter like all day today. Like, you are at the best short point. Got some at one. Oh, man, I don't have my entries in front of me. It doesn't matter. 174.20, 174.50, 173.90 or something. I don't know. It got up to 170, 5, almost 176 when we were 176.15 when I was busy. All right, Dan. What now? Filled the gap. Look at this wick. Is this a breakout or a fake out? Remember what about the Buddy Pass system? I'm just going to show you, and you can get mad at it or not. But do you see the problem here today? I see some volume, and it looks green. And I bet a lot of people bought this. But what do you also see? Red flag. But here's the biggest thing, right? The markup. The markup, right? At the highs. You got to be careful with big volume at highs and big volume at lows, right? Because think about who's taking the other side of the trade. Yeah. Think about it. At the lows, big volume. And it just like, oh, it's game over. And it's like, well, who's taking the other side of the trade? If I'm the market maker here, I am all in short Apple. I have got the fill I need in the last. They may have got what they need today. I don't know. Now again, have you ever been a market maker? I haven't. Now I've been in finance, been a broker. I just have never been a market maker. Well, what's wrong with this move, Dan? If you can't see what's wrong with it, like there's no support in this move. Like these moves that are like these straight line. This thing is in the market's just gone crazy forever. Like when you get like this nice, like you get this like wildish pattern where you just, here you go, your triple bottom, it bases out, then you can break out. The problem with straight line moves is this. When they're done, 137 down to 100. I'll take 30 points on Apple, but what if this is the bear market? The straight line move, velocity begets velocity. There's no support. Every time you take out a next level, it wipes people who are going to sell, just like here. Every time it takes out the next level, it's just going to go just as fast as it goes up. And that's the thing about, that's why the VIX is sustaining higher. Do y'all see how this is all working? The reason why the VIX is sustaining higher is because there's bigger risk here. There's bigger potential. There's bigger moves. Like moves coming. Here's your short entry. Now, if you get a retest, be thankful. But if this is like some sort of gap, like pop and then gap and drop, it could be like what? Let's go look at the videotape. Gaia. Gap down. Gaia. And a gap. Look at that. 182 to 168. 14 points. Remember I was telling you, like, one day, days of time or days and weeks of action, you get wiped out in hours to days. You could see yourself right back in the 160s in a day. Big red. You know, like Big Red chewing gum. Big Red. Yeah, that's right. Meta. Talked about this acting like complete crap. That's what I want to see. Remember, think about it. If this was actually going higher and the market was super gullible and buying tech again, it should be Zuckerberg should be riding that freaking unicorn higher. It's not. Double top. I mean, you loved when it's a double top. I mean, especially when you get like this outside reversal and dojis. Like, this is the easiest shit ever. That's hard, right? This is what I worry about. And again, Curran, Drew, all of you guys who are like, I'm struggling with, not sure why you're just getting up in these ranges. This is what happens. All of a sudden, goo, that can happen to the market. Anything that happens to the stock can happen to the market. Microsoft, all day, hearing it. I don't know what to do. And it's like, you're so close. You don't even know it. Doji, 200-day point of control. Look at that. I don't know if it's going lower for sure, but look at that. Zoom out. Why does that zone matter? Right? Why does the zone matter? Let me just stretch it out for you. High volume highs, high volume low. Load to retest! Ah! I've never noticed that before. Apologize if that's annoying to the recording, but think about that. I'm not saying I haven't. I'm saying like newer folks. High volume highs. There it goes. Zing, 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 zing. And now what? Again, you might see green candles. All I see is 3 lower highs and 3 and a lower low. I guess not 3. We'll see. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I know it's probably going to be profits at some point. Now, keep in mind, like this thing played catch up. This played like Best Buy, 250 to 280. It could do, it could turn right the heck over because look at the monthly, right? This is another one of the 14ers in Colorado. And when you get the backside of them, it's like, whoa, yo, downward dog. We'll see. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be mean to folks. It's just like, look at the stock. Look at the market. All right, here's the anomaly, right? NDAQ. Coming into what? Daily trend line. Like, coulda, shoulda, woulda, waited. Didn't even think it's possible. But what do we notice? High volume highs, high volume lows. Like, this to me is like, I'm hoping it doesn't get there, but this is always very distinctly possible. That 196 level. We'll see. Which is more powerful? Now, again, think about this from the stretching it out. Like, really getting stretched here. But could it get up there? I added some more puts today like an idiot. Just because I'm like, I can't wait for this thing to turn. Because it's just going to go do. Take the elevator up. It's going to take the elevator down. We'll see. And if I'm wrong, I mean, again, people realize, like, I don't have any stock. I've got options that just got absolutely beaten. Bought them for $4. They're worth $1 now. And it's like, well, they're worth $1 now. I'll just hold them. Because I got till September, late September. So it's like my risk reward now is 0 or getting back to even. Well, how far am I from 0? Not that far. So again, can I roll that capital? I don't think I can find that cheap options that make sense. Let's just let it roll. I mean, that's sometimes what happens with options. I always tell them, like, know your downside. You can be absolutely wrong, and that's what'll happen. But if you go big in an account with a big amount of options, you're going to be playing a pain train because that happens sometimes. Roblox talked about the 50 area. Look at that. Volume up there starting to peel. Remember, when the onion peels, everybody starts crying. Talked about getting up in there. That candle should have been dangerous. Lower highs, lower lows. Does it get bought out? That's the biggest question I keep asking myself because somebody really, really wanted it down here. Will they come back? You know how we talk about bottoms with volume, right? Like, remember, this bottomed in May. Remember, the market was still just, and it held up. Then it started a ride, which I think a lot of people rode from like in the 20s to the 40s, the 50s. I hope that's the goal of the room. I didn't, but I definitely took some off of it. Took some points, puntos. Tesla, a stock that everybody loves. Let's talk about the story of Tesla. There once was an see all those commercials. Straight line move. Watch. You know how I talk about one day can turn it all around? Kaboom! 1886 to 9. 200 points. Just like that. Now you got the retest because the bull market wasn't over. What I've said to folks anytime they ask me, and I've never been scared to tell them, actually go watch the risk management profile movie or video. Literally in November of 2021, I talked about like you guys are about to get slaughtered, which was days before it happened. And luckily, I think I actually took like 100 points off of it, but I didn't have the balls. But now I look back and I laugh, and it's like everybody hated the stock on the way up. Now they all love it on the way down. How dumb do we? I mean, not like dumb about people. Like, how dumb do we become when we just start believing in certainty? Now what? You're failing at the 50% fib. I mean, it's just, it looks like a double top. It looks like the McDonald's arches, right? Da 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 da. Shorts are gonna be loving it. Bulls not so much, right? Let's draw the arches. Oh, that was not a great arch, was it? Tried to draw it. Let's remove that. We're gonna draw the golden arches. I want Ronald McDonald to be proud of me. Old Ronnie. Good old Ronnie boy. I want you to be proud, my friend. Let's see what's going on here. The golden arches. I don't know. I mean, if you hold out forever, maybe you'll get a frosty if you're lucky. No, but this is the hardest part of trading, right? You, me, all these people who are just naive to this stuff are thinking, well, if everybody thinks it's always going to go higher or later, well, everyone has to be right. Do they? You got the double top. I got some Tesla Q calls. I've yet to buy puts on this, but that's all I'm going to say about that. If you hold Tesla for the long term, it's like warning people about EXPI. You know, like, hey, if you only could remember that lower high. This stock, love the company. Here you go. Fundamentals. Someone talking about fundamentals like this hearing aid company and yada yada. Guys, gals, like there's never going to be a CEO who should ever be ahead of a company and not be able to sell the shit out of their company, meaning like make it seem awesome. Like you don't ever put a person in charge of a company that cannot project a vision, even if it's going to be wrong. That's the hardest part. People like these penny stocks. Do you not get like there's? I mean, I think Swing did ask me about. There should never be a person in control of a company who can't project a vision of greatness. Do y'all see that? And so you're always and if you catch that vision, well, guess what? You're gonna believe it. I mean, that's what they all do. I mean, that's what they all do. All do. That's their job, is to like get everyone to work as hard as they can and believe in this great goal that's gonna happen. And guess what? It doesn't always happen. Yeah, UTHR talked about this when it chopped and it double bottom. Here's your volume. VPA action came back. Double B popped up. Head and shoulders top. We talked about if you don't, and this is the thing. Remember the straight line move. Please take some profit. Comes back to the breakout. Boom. Head and shoulders fail. Well, how does that apply now to every other stock in the market? Keep in mind this was a leader. Now it is lagging. Leaders turn to laggards. Laggards turn to leaders. That's how it typically happens. Or leaders turn to laggards and then go bankrupt and they become penny stocks. And then we have somebody ask us about this company that makes plungers. And they make great plungers. I mean, the best plungers in the world. They can unclog any shithole. And it sounds great. But you get what I'm saying? Like, this isn't being mean. I can't remember who asked that question. But it's like, there's no such... I mean, again, if I meet a CEO... I meet the boss of a sub-regional franchise. His goal is to make it seem like, what? This is the best ever. And I am great at my job. How do you not see through that? The CEOs are just amazing at it. Like, someone at the top should be, like, magical. He should, like, play the sweet golden harp and make you believe in the stupidest shit ever possible, but it sounds good. USO. People keep asking, short, buy, I don't know. Talk about oil, I just leave it alone. But again, here's the problem. If inflation's coming, or if there's an inflationary event, this spikes. And if there's global conflict, it spikes. But if market starts dropping, rates going higher, and the feds are stuck raising rates, it's probably going to go lower. So this is why I leave it. Stick to tech. A lot of people asking me about UNG. I thought, right here, I said I thought the double golden arches were coming. Now we're making a higher high, but here's maybe the bigger double, like here's Ronald McDonald's smile. Here's every McDonald's smile, the bigger picture. Maybe it's a bigger double top. You see, it's like just the ends of the world. I don't know. But here's the problem. If this thing breaks out, the market ain't going to like it either. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Do you see how I try to steer people away from these really hard decisions? Because they're not binary. Like, it doesn't go in your direction if both things play out. Like, that's the kind of stuff we're looking at. Like, tech, shorting tech. If global conflict goes, tech goes down. If there's a recession, tech goes down. Do you see my point here? Like, I don't want to play a game where I have to flip a coin to be right. Well, I can only go long, or I can't short things. Well, guess what? That's a you problem, ultimately, and you got to figure it out. I don't know what to tell you. XOP. Talked about 140s. Here's your big-ass box in the sand. Why can't you draw today? Actually, I think that's not just a today thing. People should be like, you can't draw ever. Here you go. Well, it's hard because the lines overlap and the app gets confused. Here's your line in the sand. I don't know. ExxonMobil really wanted to see this thing get what? Up into like the 90s. Didn't get there. All right. Now, here's the thing. Again, I'm talking to people about real estate. There's a ton of videos on how to get different types of loans for people who are traders or investors, investor loans, alternative bank loans, DSCR loans, whatever. If there is inflation coming and you're sitting there with a pile of cash, you better find something to do with it. Because again, I literally know folks who are like, I'm selling my house and I'm cashing out and I'm just going to wait. You're literally selling your house during inflation. As inflation comes, dangerous, because now you're sitting on a pile of cash and the Fed's burning its value away. Talk to me. Let me put you in a great situation. Find a great real estate agent in your area to hopefully find some investment properties. And also help you property management. Help you literally run the process for you. Because you don't need more things on your plate. You just need more assets. And again, think about the best part of housing. I say this every time. If you rent it out and you cash flow, now it is another source of income. But you'll buy another car. You, me, everybody. We'll buy another car. We'll buy another gadget, and it instantly devalues. That's the thing about housing. It goes up. It goes down, potentially. But what is the thing is the cash flow is steady, potentially, and highly likely. And if people are not buying, they are fucking renting. And if you're not paying attention, rents are not dropping, especially in places where you want to live. And then when I say want to live, like exotic, I wouldn't even say Denver, Florida, certain parts of the country in general. Those rents aren't going down because people still want to move there, just scared to buy. So they rent, which helps push up your ROI. It's not rocket science. I can't rant on it this morning. Have a great day. Stop by Discord room. Love you guys. Peace out.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.